It's hard to understand the way that you went out. I bet you're living with a little hint of doubt. Maybe next time when you gotta show your hand, you won't cut and run, you'll finally make a stand. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Existential questions always get you down. All you want to know is are we lost or found? Is there something that you feel you need to chase? I bet you thought you'd put me in my place. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5,
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door. As you can see, it's pretty empty in here. That is because a certain couple of gentlemen who normally grace us with their presence on the weekend or start of the weekend, they've got family shit. He looks so lonely. He does look lonely. I mean, I had these comments right here. These are helpful. Yeah. Thanks for coming to see me. And not those other two. Really appreciate it. Twisted NBN. First things first. Yeah, the other two aren't here. They are celebrating Thanksgiving, which is some sort of American thing they do every year. Oh yeah, D&D night for Than. But basically family time for the other two. So little old Guy Next Door is here kind of by himself. I have a couple of guys hanging out in the wings waiting for me. One thing I did think of, actually, I was going to hit you up earlier in the week, Goldfish and Smalley. I'd like to do a podcast with you guys at some stage soon, basically talking about women in Laserforce, and because I think that would be kind of interesting. But that's a discussion for off camera. If you guys are keen, you're keen for that, cool. I think that would be kind of a cool show and kind of a good perspective. But we'll tackle that one. We'll tackle that one next Thanksgiving. No. It'll be at some stage later on down the road. But I'd be really keen to do that show with you guys. I felt a little bit odd about it because I'm like, whilst I do have long luscious hair, I'm obviously not a female. Well, not that obvious. Got nice hair, feminine charm. Yeah, I don't know if I'm the best person to be kind of hosting that sort of show. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool if you guys are keen. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys about it later. And now that I've said it on air, we kind of have to do it. So right. So before we get into you hold me do it, Matt. That's good. Please do. Before we get into the crux of the show, I got some housekeeping, as we tend to do here on the Resupply. First things first, I wanted to do some birthday shout outs because that's something that I've started doing. I made a couple of notes. Please forgive me if I forget to wish you a happy birthday from the last week. But I wanted to send out some birthday wishes to Noob in Detroit, Off the Wall, who is now I think in Texas if I remember that correctly. And Rusty and Baden, happy birthday for yesterday. Born on the same day, 3 years apart, I think. Your poor mother. Or maybe it's easy. You only ever have to remember one birthday date every year. So maybe that's the way to do it. Try and do that, and then you can get the birthdays out of the way, and then move on for the rest of the year. Or become Jehovah's Witness, and you don't have to celebrate birthdays. Smart. Don't do that. You would donate to the show, but you can't watch it, so no money. Why is your video not working, Heathen? It seems to be working for everyone else. Give it a good old smash that refresh button. Hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear for almost everyone. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why it's not working. I can't help you with that one. It's above my pay grade. Thank you for the cheers. Appreciate it. Look at the face. I'm blushing. It's so generous of you. Thank you, Goldfish. The other things I wanted to bring up, pretty soon in the Discord, you'll see another little area in there. Basically, I think, now that I remember, I think you have this section in your Discord server, Goldfish, but basically an area where people can post their links to their YouTube pages, their Twitch accounts, basically anywhere that you kind of put content. If you want to share content with the wider community, feel free to check it in that section that's coming soon. Self-promo, exactly right. You have that in yours, don't you, Goldfish? I'm pretty sure you do. I think that's that wasn't me who said that I should stay. Yeah, I was pretty sure you did. As I started talking about it, I'm pretty sure Goldfish does. Matt, Godservant himself, was like, we should have this. I was like, that's a great idea. So I'm going to blame him. I'm going to say that he stole it from you. But yeah, that's something coming soon. I think, hashtags, yeah, exactly right. Just check the Discord. I think that's a great idea because I've seen some of the other content that you guys do. Obviously, I've caught a few of your streams, Goldfish. Tucker, I've seen some of your streams, if you're still around. Heathen streams. Who else does stuff? There's a bunch. I love being there. It's great. Twitch is like... Twitch... You just look. Twitch is one of those things that have made it, I think anyway, a little bit easier specifically for our community to keep in contact away from nationals. And I think that's kind of important, especially this year where being around people in the flesh has been so difficult. Having a community... hey, Biscuit, what's up? Speaking of community... Biscuit has come via Blueson, aka Steve Gibb from These Four Walls. He streams as well. So it's I was saying on a stream last night. I think I was playing Doom, and I think I said on there where basically we've got this. Oh no, it was during Thunderdome. We have this like communities, all these different communities that we're all part of starting to merge together, or at least for me anyway. It's really cool to see people are kind of getting to know each other through other members of the Twitch community. It's such a buzzy thing for me because I'm like new to all this, right? But yeah, it's really nice. It's nice to see, and hopefully it gives people oh, it's stupid. Everything else on YouTube, no problem loading. Consistently try to load. I don't know, man. I don't know how to help. Your Discord server is 50% lasers and 50% randoms from real life. Exactly. And like when you start putting yourself in front of the camera, it's interesting how those start to merge together. Like I've been playing a little bit of Among Us with Wolfman and his friends from high school, and then I think there's a bunch of randoms in that one. So it's trippy. I love it. It's so good. But yeah, so in a roundabout way, jump in there, post your links. Another awesome YouTube channel. If you haven't given her a follow, Autumn out of Sacramento has a channel called, I think it's Kitten Colors on YouTube. And they're so pleasant to watch. The videos are dope. She does like these crazy hair coloring stuff. And they're very Kitten Colors. They're so pleasant she's so pleasant to watch on camera. I think she should invest in a good microphone, and then like perfect. I'm a big fan of ASMR videos. I find them very relaxing. I think she would be very good at that in a hair coloring setting. But anyway, I digress. It also allows for people to support the wider community as well. So, hell yeah, get the ASMR tingles. It's the phone internet. Oh, right. Are you at work, Heathen? That's probably it, right? You know what? Maybe try tuning been following ASMR for a decade. Yeah, so the thing is, actually, one thing at a time. Heathen, try turning the quality down, the stream quality. That might help. I recently tweaked the settings so that we stream in like 1080p. So maybe that's causing some issues on mobile. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to tell you. ASMR stuff, Biscuit, like I experienced the weird tingle sensation, like my hot, not that kind of tingle sensation, the weird ASMR sensation, 1080p by default. Oh, okay, I might have to figure out how to give people options, right? Before it was called ASMR, I used to experience it. It was quite pleasant. We are way off topic. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for posting those. That's right, 1080p or get the fuck up. So today, with the absence again of the parents, as I like to refer to them as, although to be fair, you took ASMR for days, but you gotta whisper it. That'll be our next stream. We'll do a Laserforce ASMR channel. Yes, with the absence of the old guys, and to be fair, DK is not that much older than me. I think he's like a year older, if that. But you know, they hold themselves as adults, where I very much, as you can see behind me, do not. Daddy DK, hey, I'm for sure never. Well, never say never, kids. Never say never. Daddy DK is starting to feel nice, rolling off the tongue. We're all over the place. You're older than you are, therefore old people you are. How old are you, Tucker? I mean, if you don't mind divulging that information on the internet. Anyway, I have people waiting in the wings. We have guests. You're old. You're way old, Tucker. We have people waiting in the wings. I'll bring them in because so it wasn't until I think last night It wasn't until last night that I actually had a somewhat of a plan for today's show. Um, because I was really uncertain as to what to do with the guys being away. I could, always just come on here and talk to you guys and chat, and we just chat for like an hour, and then we all go our separate ways and have a nice day. But I figured, no, let's have some sort of structure to the show. And so, whilst searching for some sort of topic for today, I jumped into a very own Godservant's Discord channel, and they were streaming Ark, I believe, and we just got to talking. And then, as we almost always happens whenever you're talking to somebody in the Laserforce community, we start talking about Laserforce. And the conversation that we were having, I thought was quite interesting because he has a different perspective on Laserforce than I do, because he's a relatively new player. And I basically cut him off mid-sentence. I was like, wait. Are you free tomorrow? Do you want to do this on the podcast? Because, again, like I said last night, why would you do anything if you're not going to stream it? There's no point. Do a thing, stream the thing. Perfect. So let's bring... so that sparked this conversation. I also was messaging Stallion this morning. And damn kids, that's right. And he was like, "Hey, look, like, I'm free if you need some people." And I was like, you know what? Getting some multiple perspectives on these topics might be a cool thing. So let's switch to this. I hope they're ready. I can't actually see them. Boom. How does that look? Oh, they're here. I've got you both muted though. Hang on a sec. Boom. How we doing this morning, gentlemen?
Yeah, good.
Good, man, good. You've got a little hiding one.
I told you I wasn't alone today.
I mean, that's exactly what happens when, like, the morning of, we're like, oh, fuck it, just come on the stream, it'll be fine, don't worry about it.
She's crouching down to try and not be in the shot.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this on fail videos on YouTube, right?
I was just waiting for the full slip and then disappear, but not quite.
The missus like runs in and grabs her, like, yanks it. Thanks for joining me, fellas.
All good.
Before when the news anchors do their morning spots, exactly right, Biscuit. What I wanted to before we get into what we were talking about, I figured that we would touch on a couple of things first. So, we'll start with Stallion. Stallion, you messaged me during the week. You're on fire this week, man, in terms of your good ideas. You messaged me this week. You're like, hey, man, do you have a Twitter account? And I was like, nah, I don't do Twitter. And you're like, oh, I do Twitter. I'm gonna do the shit out of Twitter. And that's basically sparked you are now going to be in charge. Well, pending if the other boys have anything to say about it.
Oh
my god, a phantom arm! Is Stallion the bass guitarist for a Christian rock band?
I used to play bass about 20 years ago. Does that count?
I mean, like, I'm not surprised. Oh my god, it's so trippy. But yeah, so you've taken upon yourself to set up a Resupply Twitter account. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah, is that am I saying that correctly?
I absolutely have.
So what does that actually entail? Like, what's your vision for what you would do with
Okay, so what I was thinking was probably would concentrate on not doing tweeting when you're doing, say, Thunderdome Thursdays or the D&D or anything like that. I'd literally try to concentrate it on
this show.
This show,
yeah,
and any other Laserforce related content, because when you run, from what I can tell, when you run a branded channel, you should stick to your lane. Like, personal Twitter accounts can do whatever, right? Because they're a personal opinion. But if you're running a branded Twitter, you kind of need to stick to your lane so that people know that if they tweet, it's going to be about this subject. So, supporting the podcast, supporting Laserforce Live. I followed like all of the official Laserforce site Twitter accounts that I could find in English.
Yeah.
There were a couple in Russian, and I'm like,
Awesome.
I might not follow those Russian ones because they might be like death to America, and I'll be like retweet. I'm like, kidding. But you know, so yeah, just a real stick to the lane type Twitter situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, and support any Laserforce community events. Like, for example, we've talked before about I'm kind of been bitten by the bug again, and I would really like to try and make something happen down here in Wellington.
Yeah.
My plan there is when I'm off on my Christmas break, because I take about a month off around Christmas time.
Right.
And so when I'm on leave, I'm going to try and set up a meeting with management and go in and say, hey, look, I used to play a lot. I'll be keen to try and set something up.
Yeah.
I've got like a couple of kids, like literally my kids and my kids' friends, who have expressed some mild level of interest. And Truth said that he is half aware of a group that might be going in on a semi-regular basis, but he doesn't have any contact details. So it's basically a situation of trying to talk to management, getting them on our side and saying, can we support from the management side the fertile ground needed to set something up, which could eventually result in a representative team.
It's interesting that, so in the space of like, what, 3 months? Not even 3 months. Like a month, maybe. 2 months. Let's say 2 months. We'll split it. You've gone from like, I don't have the energy. I don't want to do it from scratch. And then...
I'm not going to do it from scratch because, well, look, my idea of doing it from scratch is going in and going to all of the supercharged sessions.
Right.
And just playing mainly to watch other players, and then tapping the 12-year-old kid on the shoulder and saying, "You look pretty good. Do you want to do something more?" And like,
what you want to do is you want to get yourself a tape recorder and
one, if done wrongly, that comes across really creepy, and two, that's a lot of time and effort to scrape people out of the lowest common denominator Laserforce that they support outside of birthday parties.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's where my, hey, is there a poster idea came from, because look, if I can get Wellington Laserforce to throw up a poster, then that hopefully self-selects the interested people who might be looking at pushing lasers, and push them towards a central place where we can then go, looks like we've got enough, let's make something happen. So that's my I'm not building from absolute scratch.
So we get some, so Hoodie said, come to Space Marines now, we'll give candy. And then we have you look pretty good, you want to play laser tag in my van. So those are all very good examples of how not to approach the children at your local Laserforce arena.
Exactly.
You need, so basically you need, in order to do that stuff, it's Twitch and sorry, Heathen, there's not much I can do about it, man. That sort of stuff is where you need to, like, the site needs to be okay with you being a representative of theirs. And that's, you're not an employee.
At some level.
Yeah, exactly. You're not an employee there, and that's then, they make that clear. But you are representing their business, essentially, if you're trying to push their business. And so you still need to hold yourself and conduct yourself in a manner that's appropriate. Don't promise candy. I made a note here. I generally make notes, and my note was Stallion, Twitter, obviously has the bug.
I mean, like, the triple threat was a lot of fun,
Oh,
and
so
I really
good.
enjoyed myself. And
Cake is okay.
I
Sorry.
I like you. There was the discussion about his salary jumped this much, and I'm like, I know I can be better.
Yeah.
Like, especially since we lost all those stats from botany.
Oh yeah, it was.
And come YRL, I was up against it because I was running into the limits of my fitness, and I was running into players with thousands of games more than I have
Yeah.
at YRL.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was definitely my worst performing day.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I reckon there's still room for me to get back, hopefully, around where I was. So yeah, I'm keen. But I walked out of that tournament going, fuck, after 16 years, I can still call myself top 10 in the country. That's
pretty
not
good.
bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's interesting that you sort of mentioned about botany, because I was listening to the recap pod actually yesterday, and we had mentioned on there, like, you guys, the three of you, very strong attacking players, and you did the majority of your attacking games in that site on day one where everyone's fresh. So I think it is a shame we didn't get to catch them.
And the fact that you guys weren't as familiar with the maze was a big leveler for me specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a shame that we didn't get to capture those stats. I would imagine that your value would have jumped up significantly more. But
I was putting him higher.
Well, yeah.
After we got, I would have put you another 50 to 80 comfortably.
Yeah, you would have
botany.
been in that that next tier up, because you were in the lower tier based on we didn't have any stats for you.
Which was fair.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely fair.
What
And I
actually worked in your
supported that
favour?
He was the golden pick of the tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was how it was going to play out. That didn't reflect in my picks for the tournament, but it is what it is.
Who was your pick again for the tournament to win?
The team that came last, yeah. Hey, look, it's not my fault. Were you on that team? Were you on Scott's team? Okay,
we got fourth.
Yeah, right.
By the draw, we got fourth.
That's right. It was him, Know It All, and Red Odin. Ruan. Yeah. And Ruan was wrecked. Managed to sneak in onto the Rocket Lab guest Wi-Fi. I'm glad, Heathen. We'll figure out something. I have a feeling it's because I played with the settings, and now by default you have to stream in 1080p. It seems weird to me, but maybe I broke something.
We'll take a look at that after, because I know you can cut it, but I don't know what the settings are off the top of my head.
Right on. That's cool. I don't think we can change it anyway midstream, so it's fine. It's not you, it's me. Right. Well, so with that out of the way, do you have the Twitter? How do people follow the account on Twitter? Are you able to chuck it in the thing? If you guys could follow on Twitter, and actually, whilst we're at it, let's do a couple of these, just cause. At the moment, our YouTube page has very little followers. If you guys could follow the YouTube, that'd be awesome, and that way we can have a link that's not that link there. We can have an actual link. It'd be kind of nice. Twitter.com/the_resupply. Go on there, give us a follow. I'm sure it'll be worth your time. I don't know how to do the Twitter. It's not something. It came after my. I was a MySpace kid. Is what I was. Thank you, Biscuit. Appreciate it.
Oh, boom.
Right. So the other thing I wanted to touch on before we get into why specifically I think it's a good thing that both of you are here. Matt, you're relative. Thank you, Tucker. Appreciate it. You're a relatively new player to Laserforce, yeah?
Yeah.
It coming after
a month off 2 years, basically.
Yeah, right. So relatively new, but you've been playing long enough to have a good understanding of Space Marines.
Yeah.
I think that's where I would put you. You're not a brand new player, but you're still new to the scene.
I know how to shoot the gun and cancel nukes on my own team, so.
Right, yeah. But we were talking last night because you came in. You would have come in as.
While you guys were prepping, basically, I started while you guys were prepping for the Nats over in, I think it was Detroit.
Yeah. Had we moved to Gen 8 by then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you only...
I never went on Gen 7 apart from before I joined you guys officially.
Right.
Initially.
Okay, so but all your Space Marines games
have been on Gen 8.
On Gen 8, except with the other game, with the exception of Botany, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a really interesting perspective because you're coming from a place where the technology has changed significantly since since Stallion started playing. And then so Stallion so we get the perspective of Matt, who is only been on Gen 8. Tucker's like spoiled. Stallion, you were around since what, Gen 3, Gen 4?
Pretty
Definitely
certain
Gen 4. Yeah,
definitely Gen 4. Because like if you the Hillary Barry's TV spot, that was what we started with. So that was
Judy Bailey.
Judy Bailey. Sorry, yes,
older.
Correct.
Older.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what we started, and that was 4. So.
And so, did you get to experience? You would have experienced some of the newer, you would have experienced Gen 7, yeah, because you played a little bit in Napier, but not Space Marines.
Yes,
right.
I'm pretty sure they had 7.
Yeah, I think.
Do you need 7? Because they had Color Conquest. Do you need 7 to support Color Conquest?
I'm pretty sure yes. Most sites now, at a minimum, have Gen 7. Yeah, there's a site in Napier Biscuit, or there was. Hopefully, it's making a comeback.
Yeah, so
pretty sure
I actually reached out to Napier in that same week that I reached out to New Plymouth, and got a message back saying they haven't found a new location yet. They are still looking. And then they're like, if you have any info, feel free to let us know. I'm like, I don't own property in Napier, sorry.
Not yet, anyway.
But they were like worth a shot. So the messaging is they are not dead. They are looking for a location to build a new Mason because they lost the lease on their existing site.
Yeah.
And yeah, I imagine there is a window where if they find a location, they'll survive.
Yeah.
But if that window extends too long, they will go where, a business that's not earning money, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, actually. I as well as Laserforce, I do enjoy roller skating as a hobby. And it's the same kind of thing, like roller skating rinks all over the place are closing down because of the amount of square meterage that it takes to run a business like that. It's more profitable for them to knock that down and put in a block of shops or whatever. Space Marines are nice.
COVID knocked everyone's numbers in terms of revenue out down the hole this year.
Donated? Oh my goodness, that's because fuck 2 degrees. That's our first donation. Thank you, Heathen. It's something low key, actually. We put a donate button on the page. If you want to donate, you're more than welcome to.
Because fuck you, 2 degrees.
Fuck you, 2 degrees. You're looking for inline rollerblades, Asavo? Biscuit, that's dope. You're down at... Man, we need to catch up in the flesh, man. When I come down, we're going to go for a skate, I reckon. It'd be kind of cool. Imagine the ramps of ice. And my knees and ankles say no, fuck you.
Wait, that's a ramp with a flat spot in the middle,
that's right, yeah. Just to really blow your knee out if you need it.
Don't forget to get air, and then realize you're traveling in the air, so it's illegal, so you actually have to get to the ground fast, so you're just stuffed.
Have you guys seen the crashed ice? Have you seen that shit? It's like, they set up this ridiculous... Google it after, it's so cool. Crashed ice. It's like downhill downhill ice game. Fucking cool. Anyway,
can I cut in here?
Yeah.
Because on the pod where I was talking about my history, and we were talking about the star against Codenames for doing something bad.
Yeah.
And I said at the time I couldn't remember. I've remembered.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
Who did you jump into?
No, hold on. So, Wellington Lasers used to do these lock-ins, right? Where you turned up at like 11 p.m. and they close the doors and you go through to like 6 a.m. and, you know, you pay a fee, blah, blah, blah. So we're doing one of those. Now, there was this kid... Right, we're back on God's Servants level now.
Yeah.
So there was this kid that was 12 or 13, and he was he was a right little shit too because his parents are really rich.
Yeah.
And most yeah, exactly. And a lot of people had issues with him, but you know, again, we wanted numbers, and he was a reliable turn up, so you know we tolerated him anyway. Going to try and
kids named Know-It-All Gaming.
So,
amazing.
If you remember seeing both the TV spot and that 3D walkthrough, you'll remember that there was a big, long, quite shallowly sloped ramp by the red gen.
Right.
It's quite a long ramp, maybe like 15.
Was it on the other side of at the back of the arena, on the other
yeah,
side
right at the back, like
You could
right
either go up or you could go down into the basement, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
right.
So anyway,
Please tell me you sent him into the basement.
no, but long story short, he was running down that ramp like after 3 or so hours of Laserforce, running down that ramp really fast. I think we were playing tag at the time, and I think he was it. And I was standing close to the bottom of the ramp going, pew, 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 pew. And as he got to me, for some reason, I stuck out my foot. And he tripped over it, got serious air, landed on the chest plate, slid across the entire rest of the red gen room, and crashed headfirst into the far wall.
Oh.
So I got a official warning for that.
I'm surprised you didn't get charges laid against you.
It was 100% deserved. But in that moment, I was like, I got you, you fucking asshole. But
offering kids...
bad. I deserved it. I deserved that star and the warning. But anyway, I remembered the story, and there you go.
Offering kids candy, putting them in basements. Sheesh.
Is that the moral of the story we're having?
Yeah. Laserforce is bad. Cheers. Right. So, what we were saying was, Matt, you offer a new player's perspective. Stallion, you offer a veteran perspective, but a fresh veteran's perspective of how the game is now compared to years ago, with quite a big gap in the middle. And then I kind of cover both of those bases because I've been around for not both of those bases. I cover that entirety of that span because I've been around for fucking ages. Should call him Old Man Stallion. I was gonna put something like that in his tag, but I already given him a bunch of shit for stealing his ideas. So I figured
you gotta be nice somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, I don't want to cyberbully Stallion any more than I need to. But so we were talking last night, and I forget how the conversation started because we were talking about changes to some of the games, right?
We're talking about D&D,
yeah,
and how I wanted to, I guess, customize the leveling so that because you can customize at the moment 2 ways, whether you change the experience for how much you gain for if you're a level behind or have many levels behind, or
thanks for the sub, Glader. Appreciate it.
or if you want to change the amount that's required per level. But those are the only 2 you can change. There is a stat multiplier that increases your experience.
Yeah.
I guess for me,
we did that. We actually edited the game. We edited Thief, and we bumped up how much a thief steals per second, and it started at 800 points a second. That was at level 1, and it got all the way up to like something ridiculous, 1,500 points a second or something. And so I went in and got 35 grand as a thief. I was like, this is dumb. That was so stupid. But yeah, you can mod them.
I guess one of the things that I was hoping for was being able to change screens or customize, maybe do a full custom game was one of the things that I was hoping to mess with. But when I was looking through it with Rowan at the Auckland site, just making a brand new fresh one, because the only way you can do it is copy an existing.
Right.
I was hoping to be able to make it fresh and see if I can put rules and all that, but it's a little bit locked down. But that would be something.
You gotta just stay yellow, you communicate more efficiently. Yeah, so that kind of sparked. You then mentioned. So we talked about that and how with the D&D, it was like a level like I think you were saying about how they don't really level, or there's kind of like a catch up system, right?
There is a catch-up system.
Yeah.
So if you're level 2 for a warrior versus a level 1, the level 1 has to shoot the level 2 twice because they have 2 toughness, so the level 1's getting more points.
Yeah.
What I was hoping for was to reduce it so that it's actually fair, a sense, where the higher person actually has the advantage rather than giving the lower level the advantage.
Yeah, so once you stomp someone, you want to continue to stomp them. You don't want to let them back in the game.
It's a snowball.
And I think my response to that was that makes some sense, assuming that you're only playing against warriors. Get rid of the bases in D&D entirely. We had a version of D&D Heathen where we did that. The bases wouldn't turn on. Since we changed it to Gen 8, that I think auto reverted back to default or something. And so we just play where you don't shoot the bases. People don't shoot the bases in D&D. People don't use the beacons in D&D. Some people still shoot the bases.
I always do a base run at the start of the game. I've got into level 3 with 2 blesses before. It was hilarious.
Yeah. D&D needs a revamp for Gen 8. I think it does. Like maybe either a adjustment of what's already existing later, or maybe a complete, new design. But that's a discussion for later. But yeah, like one of the things that I said in response to that was the warrior is kind of that, like the warrior as you go through the game kind of tapers off. At the start of the game, he has significant advantage, especially over spellcasters, because at level 2, your toughness boosts, you get stronger, you can kill more things more easily. But for the spellcasters, they start slow and then get exponentially tougher to beat the higher level they get. So I think there's a kind of an inbuilt leveling system with the way that you play the game that kind of does that for you. But then from there, you said something interesting. So you were talking about. Well, I'll let you just say what you were talking about.
I was then talking about how when we went into the Gen 7 suits, we couldn't see the screen on the guns, so you were trying to figure out how many lives you had, how many shots you had, and it was a lot. I guess for me, it was hard because I'd never had to do that. Versus people who brought up on it knew, okay, I'm listening, okay, I hear critical, I hear low, or I hear full, and you just go. Whereas I'm of the generation that's gone, I need two more shots and 1 more lives, so the guys know, and I'm just looking around the corner. Versus, I think I'm almost full, guys, keep shooting me.
Yeah.
Whereas, I guess one of the things that I'd like is if we're, for example, doing a tournament and the site that's holding it is on Gen 7, but your home site's Gen 8, I guess being able to have it so you have a mode that removes the screen so you can't see it, and you go back to listening to the audio cues. Because then when you're going to the site, you're not at I need to listen to this again, I haven't done this for X amount of months, years, whatever.
Ducky said, learn how to count your shots and lives, you lazy millennial.
hey, Steve will attest to this. I've managed to come out of that maze so many times with like 3 lives without looking at it, just full sprinting around that maze, avoiding everyone.
Yeah. Count your lives and shots in your head, you and your screens. It is. I thought it was a really interesting point because when Gen 8 I think got announced, or when it had just been put into Brisbane, one of my major concerns was, well, this takes away the competitive advantage that I have as a player who's played for many, many years, that I had to learn the hard way how to get good at this game through either counting or just being you develop like a sixth sense or whatever, right? And my very first initial reaction was, yeah, like, what a terrible thing. This is gonna be awful when people like don't, when people just get lazy and they look at their gun like, what a crock of shit, taking all the skill out of the game. But once we got Gen 8, once I played on Gen 8, then I did a complete 180. Because I was like, as somebody who's played the game for so long, I don't have. I can check the gun if I need to, but really, I check the gun half a dozen times during the game, maximum.
If you're looking at your gun, you're not looking at where opponents are coming from either.
That's exactly right.
Especially when Steve plays heavy, and you're like, okay, how many shots is he on? He's like, I don't care, just fill me up when I call for it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you're exactly right, Stallion. But like, how did you find it? Like, as somebody who hadn't played on Gen 8 yet, like,
I get much the same, I guess. Like, it was really shiny, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all this info. But very quickly, I got into
6.5.
only really checking it when I was being actively resupplied.
Yeah.
And maybe if I was doing an attack and had been attacking for a while and saw that I was low on lives and I knew that there was real possibility of nuke pressure. Because, like, if you drop to, like, 9 lives and you're, like, 8 minutes in and there's no nukes, you're like, if I don't get some lives up, I could be out with a 3-string. So, yeah, I mean, it's better in terms of not needing to count quite so much. But yeah, I only check. I would check it rarely. But probably the single biggest time saving is you're getting resupplied and you glance down and you see that you're only 1 life out of max and only 2 shots out of max. And you may as well go.
Exactly.
Like, it's pointless taking another resupply for that small benefit.
Yeah.
And if you're only listening to your suit and you hadn't counted very well, I'm not at full yet.
Yeah.
On either, I may as well take another resupply, but you probably shouldn't have. So.
And it kind of, that kind of swing. It's a swing of anywhere between 7 seconds to maybe 21 seconds. Because if you get hit and then you stand around and then, you're potentially waiting until you come up again to then take another one, and then you're waiting around if you're one of those players.
The absolute worst scenario is you take a resupply that you didn't need to, and at that exact moment there's a big attack that you could have helped repel. And that could swing the game huge. So,
and I'd imagine, so when we came up playing the game, listening to the game system sounds as well was as important as listening to your suit. And it's
100% because the suit doesn't give you mission elapsed time.
Exactly, or the nuke tone. Like, listening for the nuke tone was massive, especially because prior to Gen 7 telling you that opponent nuke detonated or activated or whatever. Prior to that happening, you just heard a nuke tone over the loudspeakers, and you hoped that it was your team that was dropping. But I think so. I talked to some of our newer players about it, and they're very unaware of what's coming in over the loudspeakers.
All right.
I still mess that up at times. I'm like, oh, it's not our nuke. Wait, no, that was our nuke. Why am I not running to get green base or blue base when I'm the resupply, as it were? So, like,
because the other thing that PA tells you is if it pulls the long nuke out of the rando.
Exactly.
Because there's 2 shorts and there's 1 long.
Yeah.
And that extra 2 seconds, if
Huge.
you muck that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like I dropped the controller to you. Hey, Gray. Nice to see you. Welcome to the resupply. Did a tournament in Darmstadt with no arena sounds. Yeah, playing, it's really off-putting having no arena sounds. Like, obviously, not having music over the loudspeakers is fine. In fact, having no music is better. Legend. Thank you, Heathen. Thank you for putting that in. Head over to Truly Awful Gaming. Give them a follow if you haven't done so already. It's my PIC on Thursday nights. But yeah, you have
The
like
packs that don't speak English.
it's so important, I think, having like all of that information piped through. And so your idea of being able to toggle the screen off and on from either your gun, probably not from your gun, probably it would be a game setting, right?
I'd rather in the game setting because you can do the flashlight, and I think one other setting as well. I think you might be able to do your language.
Yeah. Yes.
Those are the two you can toggle from memory. I'd
Right.
love to be able to have two screens, one that shows your score and one that shows all the other information. So as a new player, you could have it all there to explain it to them. But as you learn the game, eventually you can go, cool, we're going to drop it again because we think you can do this, or at least, hey, which role you're going to get, and work from that way.
In a perfect world, every Laserforce system would be Gen 8. Because I think having that information there is really helpful. So sneaky. D- it's so good.
It's all yes,
Love
yes,
it.
Tucker. We are definitely aware that
Oh,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be the biggest factor.
Yeah, exactly. Like Gen 7 is great, don't get me wrong. It's just Gen 8 is better. But yeah, if you could if there was a I'm just wondering if there is a point. So if you have the technology there, is there hello? Is there a strong enough reason to want to turn it all off? And I suppose that's the question, right? Like, is there an actual good enough reason to have the ability to do that? This far into Gen 8, a wild imposter appears. Yeah, this far into Gen 8 with people now like yourself who have played a long period of time, long enough, on Gen 8 only, like if it's something that needs to happen, or because I think the only reason why you turn it off is so you could develop some
Innate game sense.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And game sense is one of those things that takes a player from being good to being great. If the more game sense you can develop for anything in the arena, and there's stuff that allows you to do that, that you can't really look at on a screen.
I mean, one of the ways that I get around it so I don't look at my screen is I slide it to the left, so I just have my shot sounds choice up.
Yeah.
So it forces me. Like, I look at it, I'm wasting my own time. I'm not getting a benefit. But when I go back for my resupply, I slide it across to make sure that I go, cool, I need this much. But it's just for me to understand.
And so for me, being someone who played for a long time, is used to the other stuff that comes without looking at a gun. And like you said before, Stallion, like you do the same thing. You basically only look at it like in resupply, but really the rest of the time, like it's there as like a backup of information rather than your core source of information.
The single biggest benefit, in my opinion, across every class is hitting the breakpoints on multiple nukes and not going, I think I've got 3. Shit, I only had 2.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Knowing that you're guaranteeing a multi-string when you're calling this is going to be a multi-string.
Yeah.
Though the suit does say, second nuke, third nuke available, but knowing how close you are, like, for example, imagine you'd saved the neutral target.
Yeah.
And so you're exactly 5 specials short, and you tell your resupply this is going to be a triple, and you pull it, and you get the triple by hitting the neutral target in the middle of the string. So that's a edge case, but that happens, man.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know you can plan for it, and you absolutely are certain that you can get that neutral target and generate that third or fourth or whatever, yeah, it's big.
So in a sense, that's teaching you different kind of game sense, right? Because if you can then plan out, all right, well, I know that I've got 2, but yeah, I'm like 4 or 5 off another one. You could get those special points from a base or whatever, mid nuke chain or whatever if you're close. Yeah. So
I mean, because that's the thing that you could plan from the start, and obviously with the triple threat with the mixed matching, couldn't really plan for that. But in a proper Nats, when you've got a stable lineup, you could say, look, this is my plan.
mm,
You know, it literally write down a number of plans to say we're going to go with plan B, and plan B is as fast as possible triple string, but that'll be done by hitting a target in the middle of the string.
it's interesting too because like that stuff can. You triple chain in a public game last week felt so good. good. Yeah, you can plan for some of this stuff, but often in Laserforce, like your plans mid games change so many times. Like if your team's getting wrecked and you need to relieve some pressure, or if you guys are doing all the destroying and you're not too concerned about getting an elim, you can hold off or whatever. This is kind of good, but one thing I do tell newer players is don't nuke for no reason. Always nuke with a purpose in mind. You know, nuke because you hear someone go, you know, crit,
Life's critical,
or nuke because you've just gone on an epic run and are scattered, or nuke to help your team get a base, in which case you need to tell them you're gonna nuke. All this stuff is super important. Don't just drop nukes randomly for no reason, just because you have it.
Well, yeah, because like in the triple threat towards the end, our team had said, look, just single string them. Like, don't save up. The way the tournament is playing out, you just burn lives off the medic as fast as possible, even if it means single dropping nukes,
Right.
with effectively no warning.
Right.
And it worked out. So
then if you're all on the same page about it, then it's less of an issue, which is kind of good. But like, yeah, I think even then, like letting your resupply know, hey, when you hear a nuke, go and go, like, I'm gonna go drop 2 now, go get your bases or whatever. I think that stuff's super important.
That's what I got into the habit of doing after Steve told me off for just dropping singles all the time.
That fucking guy next door, guy, he's such a moody jerk. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting perspective, and like, I mean, I don't know, like, interesting as well that, you know, you two specifically are probably the prime examples for New Zealand Laserforce of, you know, coming in with 2 really different perspectives. And Stallion, I think actually your perspective is a lot more unique than most, because Steve's stream face is just a show. I don't understand what that means. But yeah, like, yeah, your particular situation, Stallion, is really unique because nobody has had such a significant gap and then come back to the game, you know?
Yeah, like I almost wish I had reached out several years earlier now. Like, I happened to reach out and COVID went, no plans for you. So, yeah, I wish I reached out a bit earlier now, but it is what it is. So,
yeah.
Hey, you made it for the tournament. You put in the work and you got the dub. What's
exactly
sad about
it? Speaking of which, I still need to organise you guys a wee little plaque to go into the show.
Have you still not done that?
Nah, mostly because I get distracted easily.
This is very true.
The face you put on,
Steve, don't turn around then, man. We're done.
There's too much colourful shit in here for me to like. Yeah. You see, there's 2 cats even, Glader. So Glader said the face you put on for the stream is not the same face you wear in game. So my stream face is more in line with my real life face. My Laserforce face is Jekyll and Hyde.
There could be only one.
Yeah. Exactly right. Double kitters, double R. So was there? I can't remember if there was anything else we were going to kind of talk about with that. Was there? There was some other like game mod stuff. Did you have any other?
The other one that I messaged you this morning was, I guess, it's more for the players who have played for a while. More so for if, for example, New Zealand is going to, say, the States, and you guys are just doing custom games, and you don't want to always have to select Masters. You want to select Supercharge or something like that. Rather than all the people who are coming over getting put as level 1s versus level 6s for their home site. Maybe having them so they're like by default, if you go to another site, you start at like level 4.
Right.
So if you shoot your own team, you get the penalty. That sort of thing would be nice rather than being level 1, because then I've heard a story where Doom outscored Rusty, which I still don't believe because I haven't seen the scorecard. And Rusty wasn't happy that Doom was level 1. So,
right.
So I guess being able to have that ability at all sites to change it to increase it would be nice, but that does come down to management normally.
Yeah, I think because when we travel, right, Rusty isn't happy about a lot of things. Yeah, exactly. He's the same as me, like crazy face at Laserforce, but a decent dude outside of the game. Yeah, I think part of that is when we travel for lasers. It's usually because of a nationals. Or it's a competitive Space Marines game, and obviously levels don't really matter, right? In a Space Marines, and I think from a company wide perspective, I don't think they really care.
That is fair.
Yeah, they're like, it's too hard. Like the amount of people that are actually going to travel, there's a player pool of probably maximum 80 people, maybe let's say 100, just to be on the safe side. There's 100 people out of global Laserforce that would potentially travel, and for 100 people to put the work in to do, it's not really worth their time to do it.
Plus, we also know that you can force log any person to any level.
Exactly.
So if we turn up at a site and someone hasn't played enough to trigger a level increase, and it's going to be an issue in that game, we can just go, can you force log that suits the Laser Master?
Yeah.
So there is a workaround in place and has been since the dawn of time. So
especially like yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. You force log it. So I think for them to spend the time to kind of work out whatever algorithm is going to work, because I think it'll be harder for the system to gauge what level you should be at the new arena, than for the player to kind of do it themselves. Especially after, like, if you go in for a public game or a standard game, and that happens, yeah, then you can always, they're like, well, clearly you shouldn't be a level 1. We're going to put you as a 5 or level 6 or whatever. It's interesting because since, I don't know if it happened Laser Force worldwide, but our minimum averages went up significantly for what you have to be to become like the higher levels.
Do that site by site. Rowan said he was changing it himself,
and that's right. And they did it because there was people that would play in the public games that had like leveled up to 5 or 6, but were then finding it too hard and weren't happy that their scores had then dropped because the game was harder because they had the handicap. To which I'd be like, that's the point of a handicap. You have the handicap there so that the game becomes harder for you if you spend all your time shooting the public.
yeah.
It's an interesting one. So I think with the way that it's the ease of which you can manually log someone as a level, plus the fact that the levels are there like for a purpose, so you don't smash the public. I'm not sure spending the time to do it is worthwhile for corporate, but you never know. Maybe they reach out and be like, Maddie, tell us more, give us more ideas. There was a bunch of stuff actually that you put in thing, but I assume that was for not necessarily today.
That's a big cat.
That is the doggo.
What the hell?
You can see, there's 4 of them now.
They were like, there's something interesting going on in there. Let's go hang out. I feel like there should be somebody popping into my stream. I I need someone. I need Dan to like poke her head around the corner, do some crazy arm movements. You've got a level 4 card, level 6 card, so you can change levels depending on other players' skill team. Yeah, so I get what you would achieve with that Heathen, but I think the leveling system is specifically put in place so that if you are spending all your time smashing newbies, it balances it out. Came to learn about Laserforce. Stay for the doggos. Yeah, they're far more interesting. Animals are always gonna.
I'm trying to hide them for you, Steve.
No. It's alright. Let's stay on my spotlight, Matt. What are you doing?
I did pre-warn you of this.
Mainly sound level 6, but fuck that. I mean, like, honestly, the way that I look at it, Heathen, is it's good. It's good 3-hit training. So, like, if
I'd
you're...
rather be.
Yeah, like...
I'd rather be 6 everywhere.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good difficulty mode. Hashtag get good. And so rather than coming out with a score of, like, 18,000 and be like, yeah, fuck all y'all, you come out with a score of 12,000 and be like, cool, I feel like I earned that because that was hard as shit. But, you know, I could imagine it gets tiresome, you know, when you're playing the public games. So,
or you come out with 8,000, you go, I hit 5 bases, but I only got 3,000 points. I need to work on my game on hiding properly, or come around the corners more intelligently, or what?
Yeah.
Or aim. If you
Like as a 6 in a game with pubs, it's like you get that rapid fire, you've got to hoard that, you've got to protect that rapid fire, because that's...
And then you get the invuln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you shoot your own team. Fuck.
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It'll be, you will shot your own team, because there were like 3 of the other team over there, and then one of your team stuck a one-handed phaser around the corner.
You son of a bitch.
Why isn't my gun working?
I've heard of some sites making the top levels 8 times to deact. So Laserforce have just introduced 3 more levels. Is that correct?
Wait, 3 more?
Yeah, wow. I think they've put in 7, 8, 9. I think.
Juggernaut styles now.
Yeah, but I can't remember
Did they add
what
abilities to go with, or?
I think so. Somebody, what were they saying? Nah, can't remember. Somebody told me what level 7 was. For a long time they have level 7 at some of the other sites, and it was called Bunny Hunter. I think Oakley had it. It's called Bunny Hunter, and if you were a Bunny Hunter, it took you 5 shots, I think, to kill anything lower than you. Maybe not a 6. Level 9 is called Conqueror. That's dope. We gotta find this shit out. It's part of our investigative
future content.
Yeah, exactly right. We actually gotta call some people like you do. I'll just wait for you to call Laserforce and tell me about it, and then we have a tradition of level 9 cake. You had me.
Oh, so they have to be level 9 on their birthday, sort of deal. Because that would be dope.
I mean, any time is a good time for cake. Unless you're intermittent fasting, in which case you can't have cake before midday, which is bullshit. But whatever.
Or if you're playing Portal 2.
Or if you're playing Portal 2.
The cake's a lie.
Right. That's far. I haven't played Portal 2. I played Portal 1. It was great.
Oh, you have to play Portal 2, man. I'll play with you.
I have it around here somewhere. I have it on 360.
Dude, there's Portal 2 co-op. We should do that.
It's on my shelf down here.
Portal 2 co-op.
Portal 2 co-op?
Let's do it.
Righteous. Was there anything else?
I don't have cats.
You have crazy people?
All of my stuff just sits there nicely. Have you played Postal 2? No, haven't played Postal. We get them cake when they reach level 9. That's pretty cool. We need to implement something like that. Yeah, was there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
How's the poster going?
So this week has been a very crazy week. So it's been going about as good as I sent you last time. I think that I had a design, which I could share with the class here. I don't particularly like it because it was very.
It's a
very,
starting point.
Yeah, it's a starting point. It's very basic. What I might do, I might put a photo or put a image of it up in the Discord, and if people want to pick it apart, or more useful would be to add suggestions. But if you want to shit all over it, feel free to. But I guess the point is for it to drive people to the Discord, and potentially to this show. To show them that the community exists outside of going down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hashtag posted. There we go. Boom. Did you just add that?
No, that's been there since last week when you made the comment about the poster.
There we go. Matt's onto it. Maybe I should put the poster in there.
Genius.
Actually, that is one thing that I have in my notes as I look to them here. I wanted to do because I did a big shout out last week to you, Stallion, for all like the basically content and the ideas and stuff that you had, because like in all seriousness, like we really appreciate it, because not only does it let us do less work, but it actually generates conversation, and that's the most important thing. Like if we could generate conversation out of the stuff that you put forth, it's cool.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, so we really appreciate it.
Like I mentioned, I think somewhere before, but I kind of feel a little bit like I'm making up for some lost time. So
yeah, you got 16 years of like, ooh, how about this?
yeah, kind of.
You're like,
hey, they could put like a screen on the gun. That'd be awesome.
That'd be amazing. I remember talking about that shit like a decade ago. It was so good.
Oh, look, I remember.
Well, they had
I remember when they brought out.
Was it
might
Gen
have been
5?
Yeah, I think it might have been Gen 5.
Yeah.
And there was the flat pack,
Yeah.
the flat thing on the back, and they're like, "There's going to be a screen here one day," and I'm like, "Cool."
Exactly. It even had, from what I remember, it had a little like, it seemingly had a little slider thing that you could, that was
slide it
looking
out.
like it was going to, yeah. But what I wanted to say was a big shout out to Matt for all the moderator work that you do for us, and of course. Nobody makes any money except for us. No. We haven't made any money. All money has gone back into the development of the channel.
You made $2 today.
Oh, we did.
Ethan.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that towards something. The next thing is a capture card for the computer, but we'll get there. But yeah, I wanted to say thanks because Discord was all Matt. And
I say we take off and nuke the entire
nuke
site
even.
from orbit.
I'm so glad I have the volume turned down a smidge, because that was less terrifying than it has
See,
been
I
in the
feel
past.
like you need to have it up just because it's 2,000 points. It is an impact and it needs to scare the crap out of you.
Dude, last
You
week.
realize it was both of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week terrified the absolute shit out of me. It was crazy. Yes. So yeah, I just wanted to say a big thank you to you, Matt, for all the work that you put into making the channel, making the community. Because really, like, all the community stuff wouldn't have happened without you. So yeah, really appreciate it. Hydrate. Thank you, Gray. Way to look out.
He just doesn't want to drink.
I have some stuff for our stream as well, Gray, that I want to talk to you about. I think I have an idea. We'll get there.
Another hydrate.
Was it another one?
Is it
Nice
two?
response so far.
You can
Nice
drink all you
response
want,
so
man.
far. I've been drinking the whole way through this stream.
Sorry, it was the nuke. I miscounted.
It's
Damn
good
it.
though.
There was
Drink-
no screen telling me.
There we go.
Now the other is.
When Steve-O turns blue, you have a drink.
Just two there now.
Look, it's just a really subtle ploy for them to spend special points on hydrate so they don't scare you with the nuke.
Yeah. I'm more I kind of want people to save them for our D&D streams. We've added some stuff for D&D where people can kind of contribute in that way.
Twitch carry, hashtag Twitch carry.
Hashtag, yeah, exactly right. Although it's funny as shit when people are like, hey, let's give advantage to the campfire. Hey, Matt.
Did he even use any of those? I wasn't exactly paying attention.
I don't know because there was only in one instance I think that it went to something that could actually use it. I think. Oh no, you gave it to one of the baby birds, but the baby birds had no attack. Yeah,
it's worth a shot.
Yeah, so this week coming up, we don't have a stream tomorrow. There were people talking about doing something in the Discord, a community game of some sort. If people want to get in on that, come and join the Discord. And I think Heathen and Nodal are kind of steer that. If they are still doing it, 10,000 point insta kill. That one we're probably going to steer clear of, Heathen. Yeah, if you want to join in some of the reindeer games, come and join the Discord. I think they're playing Keep Talking tomorrow. Yeah, Keep Talking Nobody Explodes. I probably won't be there myself because I have to clean my house. It is long overdue and I have to do a massive clean, so that'll be me tomorrow. If at some point it works out that I don't have to do that, which is probably not the case, then I might come and pop in for a little while. But yeah, at this stage I won't be there. But if you want to go play games as a crew, feel free to do it in the Discord. That's what it's kind of there for. There's the voice channels and that you can set up if you want.
I'll stop you there. I've just added 2 more voice chat groups under the general group.
Cool.
So you got group game 1 and group game 2. So if you want to just jump in there, feel free to use them.
Awesome. Like if you've got something you want to stream in there, if you're playing a game, I was hanging out a little bit last night after I was streaming Doom. Night Owl was testing Star Wars Squadrons, and so I watched him have a jam in that for a little bit, and then I think he played a little bit of Avengers. So if you've got a game you want to share with the class, you want to do something, jump in there. I know Lone Soul wanted to do some sort of group Among Us session at some point. So anything like that, if you want to organize something, feel free to do it in the Discord because that's the whole point.
If we do Among Us, I'm on another Discord server that does Among Us, and they've got it obviously hooks into the game somehow because it auto mutes everybody outside of discussions.
Oh, really?
And then
Twitch integration. Sorry, not Twitch, Discord integration.
Cool.
Yeah, and if you die, it keeps you muted, so when the discussion unmutes, you can't immediately.
So
communicate your extra knowledge. So if that could be made to be active on, just say 1 or 2 channels, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, if someone wants to do that, I don't know if that's something that has to be done on the Discord side.
Hit me up and I'll have a look at it if you guys need to implement on the Discord.
Yeah, Maddie's the one to talk to about anything tech. I personally prefer that style of play, although there's a couple of servers I'm part of that play where they allow general chat to a certain extent, but no talking about the game, which is okay. But I think not talking during the running around parts is kind of the best. So, but yeah, if you want to arrange group hangouts, like do it in there because yeah, it's community. It's what this community is about. It's being a community and stuff. This week coming up on Tuesday, hopefully we're back at Laserforce Live. I'm battling with some personal stuff at the moment, so if I'm not around, if I don't end up going to Laserforce, I will do a Tuesday night Doom stream again, because the last 2 have been fun as shit.
Follow the green lights.
Oh, great advice.
Is that actually all you do in the game? Follow the green lights?
There's a guy, I forget his tag now. It's Hamid, maybe? I can't remember. He's been in both Doom streams and has given me some crazy good advice. So yeah, come and hang out whilst I muddle my way through that game. Yamid, that's the one. He's a good dude. Thunderdome Thursday, I'm pretty sure is happening. If it doesn't happen, because Gray is sort of out and about at the moment, they've just moved, and they've taken some time off to organise their wedding and stuff. If he's unavailable, Boom! We are back playing more Doom. um,
Oh man, that Rocket League was so fun.
it was golden.
So good.
But that sort of stuff can be like, if you want to arrange Rocket League hoons or whatever, do it in the Discord. People are always around keen to play. And then we'll be back next week. Hopefully the adults will be home, and we'll be back to give their grumpy / intelligent point of view on whatever we end up talking about next week. We still haven't worked out a holiday schedule. I think we're gonna try and stream as much as possible over the time. Play Dead by Daylight with me and Goldfish and Than if he isn't available. That's another option. Are you talking about me, Tucker, on Thursday? We'll see. I'm loving this Doom vibe, man. It's really cool.
It'd be really late for Than though.
Yeah, he's been rocking a little bit, but yeah, Thursday night would be absolutely. Or Phasmophobia, that one doesn't really tickle my fancy. That game I've only seen a little bit of, really bugged me. And then we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back with the Resupply next week, and then D&D on the Sunday. So we got a week of streams coming up. Give the Twitter a follow, give the YouTube a follow, jump in the Discord, share your self promotion for Twitch streams or YouTube streams or whatever in the Discord, and hopefully the community will give you a follow there as well. I assume that Stallion has muted himself because it's very loud over there.
I brought them in to say goodbye.
Look, that's gonna do it for us here on the Resupply for this week. I'll tell you what, you guys can join in. I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been Stallion.
And I've been Godservant.
Boom. Always remember to backtrack, kids. That wasn't awkward at all. We will see you next week. Peace.
Ciao, peeps.
I've been throwing daggers in the night. these places I wanna go. Makes me wonder if my looks good